Ella had been told the place didn't exist. Somewhere in a city that didn't appear on maps, in a building with no signage, behind a door with no knob, there was a library. But it held no books. No shelves lined with paper or ink. No card catalogs. It was called the Library of Voices, and it whispered through stories, not text. And now somehow she stood at its entrance. The door opened by itself. Inside, the air was hushed, but not silent. It hummed, gently, like someone breathing behind a curtain. The corridor stretched forward in soft gold light. No signs. Just a floor that echoed slightly and walls made of something that felt like velvet. As she walked, she realized the air around her wasn't still. It shimmered. And then she heard it. A voice. Soft, clear, female, whispering the lines of a lullaby Ella hadn't heard since she was a child. Her steps faltered. She turned. A small alcove had opened to her left. Inside was a chair. Nothing else. The voice came from above, as if suspended in air. She stepped in, sat down. The voice continued. Sleep, my star. Sleep, my sky. Let the world turn beneath your eyes. Tears welled up. It was her mother's voice. Not recorded. Not imitated. Real. Intimate. The tone, the rhythm, the slight breath between verses. A sound her memory had distorted over the years now came back perfectly clear. She sat still, listened, let the song finish. When she stood, the alcove disappeared. The corridor continued. Room after room, the library opened itself to her. One held a man's voice reading love letters never sent. Another had a teenager confessing her dreams into a hairbrush microphone. In one chamber, a grandmother told a bedtime story to an empty room. Her words cracked but vibrant, filled with dragons and teacups and hope. Ella walked slowly, notebook forgotten in her satchel. Her senses shifted. She didn't just hear. She felt the voices, the warmth in them, the ache, the joy. In one hallway, she paused beneath a ceiling where voices of laughter cascaded like rain. Children, elders, strangers laughing without context, but perfectly. She whispered, "This is a cathedral of sound." Then she turned a corner and found a staircase. It spiraled upward into soft shadow. She climbed. On the second floor, the tone changed. The voices here were quieter, older, more fragile. A man apologized, over and over, but not to anyone in the room. A woman recited her grocery list from 1968, chuckling softly as if she knew no one else cared. A boy read aloud from a comic book with such conviction it felt like opera. Ella sat in a round room where hundreds of whispers overlapped, forming a symphony of secrets, names, regrets, wishes, some in languages she didn't understand, some barely human, just rhythm and breath. She wrote, "If memory had a sound, it would live here." In the quietest room, she found something different. No voice played until she Saturday. Then it was her own. A voicemail she never left. Words she once rehearsed and never spoke. Her voice timid, trembling, young. She listened to herself ask for forgiveness, for clarity, for one more chance. She couldn't breathe. The room darkened, then released her. She moved on. There was a room of arguments. Not violent, but urgent. Lovers, parents, friends, people trying to reach each other across the canyon of misunderstanding. Ella didn't stay long. There was a room of births. The first cries of newborns echoed like bells. Laughter, relief, joy. A room of goodbyes. She barely entered before turning away. Then she reached the final hall. It was vast and dome-shaped. In the center stood a single microphone. Around it, silence. She knew what to do. She stepped forward, took the mic in her hand, closed her eyes. She said, "To whoever hears this, I was here. I listened. I remembered. And I am still learning how to speak with care." The microphone glowed briefly. And somewhere in the library, a new voice was archived. Her voice. She turned and walked back down the corridor, past the stairs, past the voices, past the whispers. As she exited the door, which opened for her again, Ella stepped into the light of late afternoon. The world was louder now. Cars, birds, footsteps, laughter, wind. But beneath it all, she heard something else. An echo. Her own voice joining the chorus. And she whispered, "Thank you for letting me hear what I needed to remember."